Chapter 602, Multi-Level Marketing? At the same time, downstairs. Leader Yuan Sheng, it's really a pity. Initially, this post of head captain was definitely yours, but in the end, that Yi Wanwan woman had a loose screw somewhere in her head and insisted on going against you. A certain dark team guard from the C family said to Yuan Sheng. Leader Yuan Sheng must have given in to Yi Wanwan, otherwise, H&G, if the late master was still around, we wouldn't be in this state. The competition became a children's game, letting a woman run into the ring in the middle of the fight. In the end, the post of head captain actually went to that garbage stutterer who can't even speak clearly. Shut up. Yuan Sheng's gaze swept across them and his face turned gloomy. At that moment, Yuan Sheng was filled with fury at the mention of Yi Wanwan and Feng Xianyi's names. Right. Let's not talk about that woman. She dampens our mood. Today we, Dark Team 4, are out here for a small get-together. We have to drink till we're gone. While they spoke, Dark Team 4 reached the entrance of the bar. Yuan Sheng had just become the leader of Dark Team 4, so they decided to throw a party for him. At this moment, Yi Wanwan and the others ended their gathering and were making their way out of the bar. Dark Team. When Yi Wanwan saw the C family's Dark Team guards in front of the bar, she was stunned. She thought back and guessed that Dark Team 4 was there to celebrate Yuan Sheng becoming their new leader. Yi Wanwan came out disguised as Yi Bai and was hidden amongst the crowd, so the guards of Dark Team 4 didn't notice her. The assistant took Luo Chen back. Han Xianyu then turned to Yi Wanwan and asked, Yi Bai, are you still going over to your girlfriend's place? Yi Wanwan, N. Han Xianyu nodded. All right then, I'll take my leave first. Yi Wanwan, all right, take care. Sure. Han Xianyu had already taken a step forward, but in the end he turned around and urged Yi Wanwan worriedly, you don't look too good tonight. Remember to take some medicine if you're not feeling well. Sure, thanks. Yi Wanwan said gratefully. Han Xianyu, good night. Yi Wanwan, good night. After they said their goodbyes, Han Xianyu went into the car that was already waiting by the road. Are you going back to the apartment? The driver glanced at the man in the back seat and asked. Han Xianyu thought about it, then finally decided, forget it, head to the villa. Initially, he stayed at the apartment only to hide from the paparazzi, but after that, since Yi Bai was living next door, he continued staying at the apartment so that it would be convenient for him to go over from time to time for a chat. But lately, Yi Bai hadn't been going to the apartment often, so staying there by himself was pretty meaningless. All right, the driver replied. Yi Wanwan didn't care much about seeing Yuan Sheng and the others at the bar. However, just as Yi Wanwan was about to get a cab to head to Jean Garden, something caught her eye and she stopped in her tracks. She saw that about 100 meters away, a man dressed as a Taoist devotee with a bewitching appearance was slowly making his way towards the bar. The bewitching Taoist devotee held a horsetail whisk in his left hand and a white cloth streamer in his right. He even had a bottle gourd hung around his waist, and he really looked quite spiritual. If Yi Wanwan hadn't met him previously and knew how unreliable he was, she might really be deceived by his appearance. The Taoist devotee from that multi-level marketing group? Yi Wanwan was somewhat taken aback and never thought she would see one of the members of the 5-member group here. Seeing that devotee, Yi Wanwan was slightly suspicious. Are these people here to do ML? Chapter 603, What a Big Bully, What Era Are We In? Always scamming and deceiving people, swindling their money away. Spit. When the guards of Dark Team 4 saw that bewitching Taoist devotee, one of them spat at his feet. The Taoist devotee stopped instantly, bent over to look at his feet, then lifted his head and asked the bodyguard, Bro, were you the one who spat on my shoe? Hearing that, the bodyguard sneered. Yes, you're right. I did it. So what? Do you have a problem? No. That bewitching Taoist devotee quickly shook his head. No problem, I was just asking. The members of Dark Team 4 burst out in laughter. At least this bastard was sensible. Get lost, don't be an eyesore here. Yuan Sheng waved him off. All right. The bewitching devotee turned around and left. However, he only took 2 steps forward before he suddenly turned around. Fate has brought us here, why don't you let this poor Taoist read your fortune today? The bewitching Taoist devotee didn't even wait for him to reply. He immediately closed his eyes, started chanting and moved his fingers. Very soon, that bewitching devotee opened both his eyes. Babette, I'm afraid you guys will encounter a bloody calamity soon. What did you say? That guard who spat at the Taoist devotee was enraged and he scoffed. This fella actually cursed me with a bloody calamity. I said you guys will meet a bloody calamity soon, the bewitching devotee repeated in a serious manner. Your mom. If you keep talking nonsense, I'll kill you. Get lost. The bodyguard quickly moved forward and pressed on towards the Taoist devotee. Alright. Forget it if you don't believe me. But who's going to graciously pay for my fortune-telling services? $1,000. Thank you. After he said that, the devotee stretched his arm out towards the bodyguard. Witnessing the situation before her, the corners of Yi Wanwan's lips twitched. Is this devotee from the 5-member group insane? Can't he see that there are so many members in Dark Team 4? By telling them that they'll meet a bloody calamity, is he itching for a fight? As expected, the bodyguard instantly bellowed in rage. I think you're courting death. Following that, the bodyguard's fist advanced towards the devotee's face. When the devotee saw that, the corners of his lips lifted upwards, revealing a strangely terrifying and cold smile. At the moment, all they saw was the horsetail whisk in the devotee's hand raised. Before anyone knew what was happening, they saw the bodyguard's body being flung away. He flew over 10 meters before falling onto the ground hard. Whoa! The bodyguard spat out blood. His face was completely pale and his body trembled vigorously. I just said you'll meet a bloody calamity. This poor Taoist is very accurate. Yet you guys refuse to pay up. What a big bully. The bewitching Taoist devotee shook his head and looked helpless. Yi Wanwan was shocked when she saw what happened and a thought flashed in her head. Although it was just one single move, Yi Wanwan could already tell that this Taoist devotee wasn't a simple man. And he was much more skilled than her. You're dead. Instantly, countless bodyguards surrounded the bewitching devotee. This poor Taoist shall read your fortunes too. The bewitching devotee looked at those bodyguards and lowered his head, pinching his fingers like he was really concentrating. In a flash, the bewitching devotee lifted his head and looked at all the bodyguards around him. You guys will meet a bloody calamity as well. Calamity your mom. The bodyguards yelled in anger. Chapter 604. Can't afford to offend. However, the insult just left his mouth when the devotee's horsetail whisk moved slightly and immediately caused those bodyguards to vomit blood. See, isn't this poor Taoist very accurate? I said you guys will encounter a bloody calamity, so why didn't you guys believe me, huh? The bewitching devotee shook his head and sighed. You're so dead. Yuan Sheng's face was so dark that he looked as if he could explode anytime. Suddenly, he stepped out and directed an attack towards the devotee. Yuan Sheng's strength couldn't be compared with the other members of Dark Team 4. His attacks were vicious and firm, aiming directly for a kill. Little friend, you're going to encounter a bloody calamity next. The bewitching devotee stared at Yuan Sheng, who was charging towards him. Yuan Sheng naturally ignored him and reached the devotee in a few steps. Kneel down. The bewitching devotee sneered and suddenly pointed at Yuan Sheng's knees. The bewitching devotee moved so fast that even Yi Wanwan couldn't see it clearly. Ah! Yuan Sheng howled in pain instantly. At the same time, he plopped to the ground and knelt at the feet of the devotee. At this moment, Yuan Sheng looked at the devotee with his face covered in fear. This devotee is the scariest character I've ever met in my life. I can't even see any of his movements at all. Misunderstanding. Yuan Sheng's voice shook and went soft all of a sudden. As the saying went, a wise man knew when to retreat. There was no advantage in offending such a person. Oh, so it was a misunderstanding? Then, come clean my shoes for me, will you? A harmless smile spread across the bewitching devotee's face. Yuan Sheng gritted his teeth. Darn it! Alas, Yuan Sheng used his sleeves and wiped the spit off the bewitching devotee's shoes. This man standing in front of him was someone he really couldn't afford to offend. Is this fine? Yuan Sheng asked. Please pay up for the fortune-telling service. The bewitching devotee smiled. Sure. Yuan Sheng took a deep breath, then took out 10 pieces of brand new $100 notes and handed it to the devotee. And that's not enough. $1,000 per person. There's so many of you, forget it, I'll give you a discount, $10,000 will do. I don't have that much cash. Yuan Sheng shook his head. No cash. The bewitching devotee took out a POS machine from his chest with ease. I support the use of credit cards as well. Everyone's expression. Yi Wanwan sized the bewitching devotee up and was completely astonished. Initially, she thought this handsome-looking devotee and nameless Nye were just multi-level marketers. She never expected that this devotee would be so terrifyingly adept. That Yuan Sheng was totally toyed around by him and didn't even have the chance to fight back. No, he didn't even have the right to fight back. Where did this bunch of people and that nameless Nye come from? Yi Wanwan was curious. She remembered that during her grandfather's birthday banquet, she bought an extremely precious bone from nameless Nye's little stall for a price of 100 yuan. At the time, she thought she was just lucky, but it looked like this group of people weren't as simple as they appeared on the surface. Now, Yuan Sheng took his card out and swiped $10,000 on the bewitching devotee's POS machine. The remaining guards of Dark Team 4 stared at the bewitching devotee and were totally frightened like they'd just seen a ghost. They never heard of such a scary person in Imperial City. Let's go! Yuan Sheng wasn't in the mood to celebrate anymore. He waved the guards off, turned around and left. He didn't want to stay there for a second longer. Chapter 605. I have a son, yet I didn't know about it? Thank you for your patronage. Hope to see you again. The bewitching devotee waved Dark Team 4 goodbye. After Dark Team 4 left, the bewitching devotee hummed a tune and seemed to be in pretty good spirits. Hee hee, $10,000. Enough for the captain to have as many dumplings as he wants, the bewitching devotee mumbled. With this $10,000, he wouldn't have to worry about this month's performance anymore and would definitely be one of the top performers in the group. I don't have to go to Africa now. Yi Wanwan watched for a little while, then was about to leave. However, the bewitching devotee suddenly spotted the nearby Yi Wanwan and immediately walked towards her. Standing next to Yi Wanwan, the bewitching devotee sized her up and smiled after some time. Famous Yi, we meet again. Yi Wanwan was slightly taken aback. I'm dressed as a man, but he could still tell it was me? What famous Yi? You got the wrong person, okay? Yi Wanwan coughed lightly and concealed her identity. Babe, this disguise of yours is a little rough. If you want, I can teach you something more advanced. The bewitching devotee shook his head and sighed. His eyes were filled with disdain. This famous Yi simply put on a men's outfit and applied some makeup, thinking that this would be enough to hide from me. Is she kidding me? You could tell. Yi Wanwan was amazed. She planned out her male disguise meticulously that even her parents wouldn't be able to recognize her, yet this devotee actually saw right through her with just a glance. Looks like, really looks like. The devotee didn't answer Yi Wanwan's question but mumbled to himself instead. Looks like what? Yi Wanwan asked out of curiosity. Like worryless Nye, the bewitching devotee murmured. Who's worryless Nye? Yi Wanwan was puzzled. Forget about this first. Famous Yi, how old are you this year? The bewitching devotee realized that when he took a closer look, this famous Yi really looked similar to the worryless Nye from the photo. 20 Y. Although Yi Wanwan didn't know what this devotee was up to, she still answered him truthfully. 20. When the bewitching devotee heard that, he pondered it for a moment. If she's 20, then their age doesn't really match. Worryless Nye should be about 23 or 24 this year. Famous Yi, have you lost your memory before? Or been together with a wild man? Or perhaps lost your memory and been together with a wild man? The bewitching devotee quickly asked a string of questions. Yi Wanwan, I really feel like tearing his mouth off right now. Or maybe, you might have a 5-year-old son but don't know about it? The devotee asked seriously. The veins on Yi Wanwan's forehead protruded slightly. I have a son but don't know about it? Are you an idiot? Seeing that Yi Wanwan was silent, the devotee asked seriously, Babe, can you let me take a look at your chest? Yi Wanwan couldn't tolerate this anymore. She narrowed her eyes and glared at the devotee. My friend, I've read your fortune just now. I'm afraid you'll encounter a bloody calamity yourself tonight. The devotee swallowed hard when he saw the fake smile on Yi Wanwan's face and realized that he asked for a beating by asking these questions. He forced a laugh and said, I just predicted that my house might be on fire. I'll get going first, babe. We'll meet again if we're fated to do so. The lowly devotee immediately took off. Looking in the direction the devotee had gone, Yi Wanwan pinched her brows, completely speechless. He's very skillful but probably has something wrong with his brain. He's simply nuts. Mini theater little devil, mommy. Yi Wanwan, who are you? Don't be silly. I'm only 20. How could I have a son your age? Little devil, daddy. See Yi Han, Wanwan, I don't have an illegitimate child, trust me. Little devil, so both my daddy and mommy don't have any idea they had me. Chapter 606, I'm really starving. I'm back. Yi Wanwan returned to Jean Garden and the first thing she saw when she opened the door was Si Yi Han sitting on the sofa in the living room with his laptop. Seeing Si Yi Han sitting in the living room, Yi Wanwan was slightly puzzled. Baby, why are you sitting here and not in your room? Si Yi Han was about to speak when Yi Wanwan sat her but down. You said before that the lighting is better there. Are you going to tell me that the feng shui in the living room is better now? You don't have to say one thing and mean something else. I know you were especially waiting for me to come home. Si Yi Han, she used to be so afraid of Si Yi Han, but now, when she saw him, she couldn't stop teasing him. Yi Wanwan wanted to continue teasing him but realized she didn't have any strength anymore. She immediately covered her belly and wailed, Baby, I'm hungry. Si Yi Han glanced at the girl next to him then leaned over and kissed her on the lips. Yi Wanwan coughed lightly. Not that kind of hungry. I'm really starving. You didn't eat? What's there to eat at that kind of gathering? Yi Wanwan whined. She spent the entire night listening to Gong Su prattling on like a broken recorder. Si Yi Han waved his arm and called a servant over. Shortly after, the kitchen prepared a table full of piping hot dishes for supper. They had everything from wontons to steamed stuffed buns and all kinds of dumplings. In the past, Yi Wanwan didn't even dare to ask for permission to leave the house, but now, there was supper prepared for her even when she came home late. She felt like she was simply dreaming. As long as she kept the great devil happy, her life would be pretty good. Everything was manageable with a great devil who wasn't jealous. Yi Wanwan was happily enjoying her supper and feeding Si Yi Han a few mouthfuls when her WeChat suddenly exploded with notifications and kept ringing nonstop. As expected, it was Gong Su spamming her once again. Gong Su, Yi, when exactly are you going to let me meet little candied plum? Gong Su, Yi, do you not love me anymore? Gong Su, otherwise, why wouldn't you arrange some work assignments for me? Gong Su, Yi, are you ignoring me and blocking me? Yi Wanwan was speechless as she read the messages. Ho in the entire entertainment industry has the ability to block you, great young master? Yi Bai, I prepared the script for your upcoming show, please be patient. Yi Wanwan replied swiftly then quickly muted her phone. Gong Su had too many black marks against him. His reputation was horrendous and it was impossible to clear up his name. Right now, the best solution was to solve the root of the problem and let him have a piece of work where he could display his skills. After all, the most fundamental skill for an actor was still his acting skills. An artist acting was the best PR. However, to produce a piece of work that was good enough was quite a challenge for Gong Su. Even if he started to cram some training now, getting his acting skills to take a giant leap in such a short amount of time was impossible, so she could only put in some effort with his script. As it turned out, she knew about a script that was very suitable for Gong Su. If everything went smoothly, Gong Su would have a sliver of hope. Si Yi Han looked at Yi Wanwan's phone that was vibrating non-stop and frowned. Yi Wanwan noticed and immediately slid her phone away, then said solemnly, "The people in the entertainment industry don't have anything to do now. They love spreading gossip, including all kinds of messy news. They really are shallow. Baby, don't you worry, I'm not like them." Si Yi-han looked suspiciously at her in a casual manner. "Oh, how are you different?" Yi Wanwan hugged her bowl of rice. "I can never be full." Si Yi-han. Chapter 607. Took the initiative to ask her out. Imperial Media University. There was a professor's class worth listening to that day, so Yi Wanwan deliberately took time off to make a trip to school and also to handle some procedures for skipping a year. After class, Jiang Yanran asked Yi Wanwan to have a meal with her nearby. "Wanwan, you're finally back. I'm so bored. I'm practically living alone in a dorm that's supposed to be for 4 people. One of them only comes once every 1 to 2 weeks, and I can't even remember how the other 2 look like already. I heard they already signed contracts at an entertainment firm." Jiang Yanran whined and complained. Most art major students at Imperial Film University started working once they were in their first year. Many of them even debuted before starting university, so it was very normal for attendance to be low. It was the same case for Imperial Media University as well. Many students only rushed to accumulate their credits when exams were around the corner. Yi Wanwan laughed. "Why, is Chu Feng not providing you with enough company?" "He's been following a tutor around to do research." Jiang Yanran replied. Then she suddenly recalled something and said, "Oh right. Guess who I bumped into a few days back?" "Who?" "Shen Mengqi." Jiang Yanran said, "She was so fake and invited me to join Assembly of Stars Entertainment and even said she wants to sign me." When Yi Wanwan heard that, a mocking smile appeared on her face. Shen Mengqi wasn't being fake, she was deliberately showing off. Jiang Yanran was just a student nobody was interested in, while Shen Mengqi was already a rising star in the entertainment industry, the big missy of Assembly of Stars Entertainment. Her future was limitless. However, Assembly of Stars Entertainment is progressing quite well. They produced quite a number of popular newbies. Shen Mengqi just debuted and was already crowned the fashion leader. Seniors in the fashion industry praised her outfits before. Yi Wanwan didn't have to guess to know who was behind the packaging of Shen Mengqi. At this moment, Yi Wanwan's phone started ringing. Yi Wanwan was taken aback when she saw the caller ID. "It's brother calling." Yi Wanwan knitted her brows. She went silent for a while before she answered. "Hello. Are you in school? I'm at your school gate. Come out, I need to talk to you," Yi Mu Fan said over the phone. Yi Mu Fan actually took the initiative to invite me to talk? Yi Wanwan considered it for a second and replied, 5 minutes. Seeing that Yi Wanwan didn't look too great, Jiang Yanran asked, "Wanwan, who called?" "My brother." "Ah." Jiang Yanran knew a little about Yi Mu Fan, and when she heard that, she asked carefully, "Is your brother still working at Assembly of Stars now?" Yi Wanwan nodded. "He asked me to meet him, so I'll have to go over for a bit." Oh, go ahead then. It's getting late and I have to return to school anyway. See you soon." "Sure, bye-bye." After they left the restaurant, Yi Wanwan walked in the direction of the school gate. As expected, she saw a familiar figure the moment she approached the gate. Although the artists Yi Mu Fan styled were all bright and beautiful, he was dressed in clothes that were bought from street stalls. But since he had a fashion sense and good taste, he still looked dashing. The little money he earned, aside from giving some to his parents, was all spent on Shen Mengqi. In the past, Yi Mu Fan was very particular about his style of dressing and only wore custom-made clothes from certain brands. Even a small accessory had to go through over 10 stages of customization as he insisted on everything being unique. Chapter 608. Have a boyfriend? Yi Mu Fan also loved picking out her outfits, buying clothes for her, and even designing a beautiful customized dress and gown for her. After Yi Wanwan went through that terrifying attack, she gained weight the past 2 years and nearly all her clothes were specially picked out for her by Yi Mu Fan according to her figure and size. Even after she gained all that weight, she still looked good and never felt inferior due to her weight. 1. Hearing Yi Wanwan's voice, Yi Mu Fan's back stiffened, then he slowly turned around and looked at her. All he saw was a girl with a ponytail dressed in a light blue dress. She stood there elegantly like a lotus flower breaking the surface, dazzling his eyes. This was the first time they met since her grandfather's birthday banquet. He always knew his own sister was beautiful. Even after she gained weight, it couldn't conceal her charming looks, but he never knew that she was this pretty. He was stunned when he saw her at the banquet that day, but this girl in front of him right now was even more lively and vivacious than before. Just like a flower that was full of dew and sunshine. Compared to her horrendous and weird style of dress in the past, not to mention the fact that she used to chase after Guyuze, it was like those were two completely different people. At first, he didn't believe she could change, but after such a long time, he had to believe that she really was different now. Yi Wanwan didn't know what to say all of a sudden and spoke up only after some time. "You were looking for me?" Yi Mu Fan was also silent for a long while before replying. "I heard from Mom and Dad that you're seeing someone now?" "That's right. I already said so that day at the banquet when I called off the engagement with Gu Yuze. I'm in love with someone else." Yi Mu Fan probably heard something from Liang Wanjun and Yi Xiaoting as there was slight displeasure on his face. "When will you stop going for guys just because of their looks? He works at the C Corporation and his last name is C. He probably doesn't have a simple background. Also, you looked so horrible before, so why would he have a thing for you? Why would he be faithful and never leave you? You believe whatever he says, huh? He said he works at the C Corporation, but does he actually?" Yi Wanwan was calm. "I know what I'm doing." Yi Mu Fan scoffed. "What do you know? Aren't you sick of always being lied to?" Yi Wanwan was forced to suppress her anger and she looked at Yi Mu Fan coldly. "TSK, at least I'm better than you. I got back on the right path, but you're still being manipulated and controlled by Shen Mengqi. Why would Shen Mengqi have a thing for you and never leave you? You believe whatever she says, huh?" Yi Mu Fan was at a loss for words and yelled back, "Don't compare any random person to Shen Mengqi. I'm not here to fight with you. I have something important to tell you. Let me ask you, are you working at Dazzling Media? What, is there a problem?" "Resign immediately," Yi Mu Fan said. "Reason?" Yi Mu Fan was very agitated. "Reason? Must there be a reason? Don't you know that Dazzling Media is the rival of Assembly of Stars Entertainment? They're trying to bring down Assembly of Stars Entertainment everywhere and oppose them. Yet you're still working at Dazzling. What's the meaning of this?" "Hey, how could I not have known? Ever since she became the director of talent recruitment, she was the one who was secretly beating down Assembly of Stars Entertainment and snatching their resources." Chapter 609. Is there something wrong in your head? Yi Wanwan curled her lips and mocked him. "You can be a slave for Daddy's driver, so why can't I work for a subsidiary of Worldwide?" Yi Wanwan. Anything related to Shen Mengqi would provoke Yi Mu Fan instantly. "Don't make it sound so horrible. Uncle Shen is no longer Dad's driver, and even if he was, it's nothing to be ashamed of. Mengqi has always been so nice towards you and put in good words for you. She's always thought about you and stood behind your back. She even repeated a year in school just to accompany you, but what did she get in return? You insulting her and her parents as well?" Hearing how Yi Mu Fan was so faithful towards Shen Mengqi and treated the Shen family as his own, attacking her to protect the Shen family, Yi Wanwan nearly laughed in frustration. In her previous life, not only did Shen Mengqi bully her till there was no good skin left on her body, but she directly ruined Yi Mu Fan's life, and in the end, her parents and family were all dragged into the mess. She remembered very clearly that in order to let the Shen family get a piece of land for investment, she urged and sent Yi Mu Fan to the Yi family to steal the tender document. And Yi Mu Fan actually went. Alas, the Shen family got the piece of land, but Yi Xiaoan and Yi found out what Yi Mu Fan did. Although her father allegedly did something wrong, he was still the eldest son in the family. Yi Mu Fan was also the eldest grandson, so her grandparents were soft-hearted and let them both come back home. This was why her second uncle and Yi always viewed her family as a thorn in their sides. Yi Shaoan always wanted to destroy her father and was anxiously trying to find a way to do so. In the end, Yi Mu Fan simply handed it to him. The final outcome was that her grandparents were enraged. They completely cut ties with her parents and even wanted Yi Mu Fan to take on legal responsibilities. Her father then went to jail in order to protect her brother, which wore his body down thoroughly, and it was also at that time. In this life, according to Yi Wanwan's estimations, that incident should be happening quite soon. The competitive tendering of that land should be starting soon. Judging by Yi Mu Fan's actions now, he would definitely do whatever Shen Mengqi asked him to do. Yi Wanwan couldn't keep it in any longer. She looked straight at him and yelled, "YMU Fan. Could you please wake up? You're a small assistant stylist at Assembly of Stars Entertainment. You're hiding behind He Juncheng like a dog, helping them package their artists, but in the end, all the honor and credit goes to him. Is there something wrong in your head? What exactly are you thinking?" Yi Mu Fan's expression didn't change at all. "What do you know? Shen Mengqi's doing this for my sake." "Yi Wanwan, let me tell you, Shen Mengqi is the most important woman in my life, and if you continue treating her with this attitude, there's nothing left to say between us." Yi Mu Fan left in a rage after he said that. Watching Yi Mu Fan's retreating figure, Yi Wanwan wanted to stop him, tell him not to believe Shen Mengqi and not to be foolish. However, nothing came out of her mouth. Because even if she said all this now, Yi Mu Fan wouldn't believe her and it would only worsen their relationship. Even if he believed her, she could stop him once, but she might not be able to do so twice. This time, she had to wake Yi Mu Fan up and give him a thorough lesson. As for her parents, she could only let them suffer a little for the time being. Otherwise, if she didn't settle this issue with her brother completely, her parents would experience even more heartbreak in the future. Chapter 610. A Piece of Cake. Assembly of Stars Entertainment. A silver Ferrari whizzed over and stopped at the entrance. A man dressed in exquisite brands from head to toe with an expensive pair of sunglasses adjusted his lapel as he stepped out of the car. The moment he stepped into the company, there were quite a number of artists and staff members who stepped forward to respectfully greet him. "Good morning, Head Stylist He. Head Stylist He, you said you'd be styling me before. When are you free? Everyone's waiting for you." Head Stylist He promised me first, all right? There was no need to mention the importance of the stylist team behind a star. Many megastars had capable teams of top-notch stylists behind the scenes, allowing them to have redoubled power. He Juncheng was now the hottest stylist in the entertainment industry. He won the last SN Fashion Grand Ceremony Annual Stylist Award and was known as the Godly Stylist, while Shen Mengqi was also praised as the Fashion Guru. As long as she wore his outfits, she would instantly become a hit. She gained the favor of many fashion brands, receiving various endorsements the moment she debuted. He Juncheng jingled the keys of the Ferrari and basked in the compliments, then directly made his way to the top floor in his personal elevator. In the dance studio on the top floor of the company, He Juncheng quietly approached the woman who was practicing and suddenly hugged her from behind. "Darling," Shen Mengqi was stunned at first, then she smiled sweetly and pretended to be annoyed. "We're at the office, be careful." He Juncheng's hands fumbled around the woman's body impatiently. "So we don't have to be careful when we're not at the office, huh? It's been really long since we," Shen Mengqi panted slightly. "Stop messing around. Wait for this weekend." He Juncheng's eyes lit up immediately. "Sure, I'll wait for you at the same old place." He Juncheng sat down on the sofa and lit a cigarette. He then said with a darkened expression, "Oh right, the progress of the Splendid Light project isn't looking very good." "What's wrong?" Shen Mengqi asked quickly. "I heard the Yi family is participating in the competitive tender as well," He Juncheng said. "What?" Shen Mengqi's face turned ugly at the mention of the Yi family. Her father had once been the servant of the Yi family, and this had always been a disgrace to her. It was good that people were animals who only looked at interests. Seeing that Assembly of Stars Entertainment had been doing better and better these past 2 years, people's attitudes had started to shift. Shen Mengqi gritted her teeth and a bright light flashed in her eyes. "So what? As long as we know the Yi family's bid, the Splendid Light project will be a piece of cake." He Juncheng asked, how could we find out such classified information? Have you planted someone at the Yi group? Shen Mengqi said softly, you already said it's classified. Even if I secretly planted someone in there, there's still no way of getting such a confidential document. But have you forgotten someone from the Yi family who's currently working in our company? You're referring to Yi Mu Fan? That useless gigolo who only knows how to eat, drink, and be merry? Aside from knowing a few styles, what can he do? He Juncheng was upset. Although Yi Mu Fan's entire family was chased out, he was once the young master of the Yi family after all. It's not entirely impossible for him to secretly get in there and help us get some information, right? He Juncheng didn't look too convinced and mumbled, would Yi Mu Fan take this risk? Stealing classified information from businesses is illegal. Shen Mengqi stroked her delicately manicured nails with an arrogant look. So what? As long as I'm the one requesting it, he'll do it for sure. Chapter 611. Hasn't touched my hand before. Hen Juncheng hugged Shen Mengqi's waist. Huh, you little vixen. You made that fool head over heels in love with you. Obviously he'll do whatever you tell him to. Hearing that, the corners of Shen Mengqi's lip lifted upwards and she looked very pleased. That Yi Mu Fan was definitely faithful to her. She believed that even if she told him to kill himself, Yi Mu Fan would do it without hesitation. Hee, I wonder how that bitchy Wan feels when she sees me messing around with her own brother. Huh, that Yi Mu Fan should take a good look at himself through the reflection of his piss. He really thinks you're deeply in love with him, huh? He Juncheng scoffed. Before Shen Mengqi could reply, He Juncheng stretched his hand out towards her chest and Shen Mengqi immediately let out a tender moan and blushed. That Yi Mu Fan is so infatuated with you, you wouldn't let him have a taste of this sweetness, would you? He Juncheng asked as if he was insinuating something. Nonsense, Shen Mengqi got mad. Why would I be attracted to that loser? He hasn't even touched my hands before, really? While he spoke, He Juncheng's right palm dove roughly into Shen Mengqi's top through her collar. Of course. Facing that face of his every single day. I'm so close to puking. I did it all for you. His fashion attainments and talents truly aren't bad, but right now, they're all yours. Shen Mengqi spoke as her body involuntarily leaned against He Juncheng's embrace. He Juncheng was still upset. Yi Mu Fan is just garbage. It's a lifetime of blessings he accumulated to be able to work for me. In return, I'll wait upon his beloved woman and make her comfortable. Naughty, Shen Mengqi wrapped her arms around He Juncheng's neck. Late at night, Yi Mu Fan was finally done with his work and was getting ready to go downstairs, but as he walked past the office block, he noticed that Shen Mengqi's light was still on. Yi Mu Fan walked over and knocked. Mengqi, it's so late already. Why aren't you going home yet? Shen Mengqi looked lethargic. I'm not done settling some things. This? Yi Mu Fan looked at the stack of documents on Shen Mengqi's desk. The Splendid Light Project? That's right. You know this is an investment project and it's very important to our Shen family. If we don't get it this time, we might never get such a great opportunity again. I've analyzed the companies participating in the competitive tender and made a comparison. The Shen family shouldn't have any problems clinching this project, Yi Mu Fan said. Shen Mengqi's face crumpled slightly. Hua Yu, Xingde, Fang Shi, these companies definitely can't compare to us, but right now, our biggest rival is the Yi Group. Yi Mu Fan was taken aback. What? The Yi Group is participating too? That's right. I just received this piece of information. Right now, what we have to offer is quite similar. We're only left with the price. If we could find out the other party's bid, Shen Mengqi shook her head and sighed. But how could we ever find out the other party's bid? The Shen family has put in so much effort for this project, but I'm afraid we won't be able to beat the Yi family. Yi Mu Fan looked at Shen Mengqi's heavy eye bags and his heart started aching. Don't worry about it, I'll help you find out. Mu Fanji, thank you so much. I'm fine. Although I can't do much, I really want to do anything I can to help Daddy, Shen Mengqi said. She was about to walk to the bookshelf to take out some documents. Chapter 612. Hopeless in the end, the moment Shin Meng-chi stood up, her body swayed and she fainted. Meng-chi! Yi Mu-fan was so scared that his face contorted. He quickly rushed over and carried Shin Meng-chi to the sofa, holding her close. Meng-chi, wake up, don't scare me. Yi Mu-fan was in a panic. After some time, Shin Meng-chi finally gained consciousness. Mu-fan-ji, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm just a little dizzy, might be because I've been staying up late. Yi Mu-fan clenched his fists. Sorry, I'm so useless, that's why you have to work so hard. Nah, Mu-fan-ji, you've helped me a lot, Shin Meng-chi said in a caring manner. Yi Mu-fan looked at her pale face and was silent for a while. Finally, he made up his mind and said firmly, Meng-chi, don't worry, just go home now and get some rest. I'll settle this issue and I promise I'll be able to find out Yi Group's bid. Shin Meng-chi concealed the overjoyed look on her face and asked with concern, Really? But how are you going to do that? Yi Mu-fan looked at her and reassured her. I have my own ways. Anyway, just trust me. I'll definitely do it since I made a promise to you. Shin Meng-chi's eyes were filled with admiration. Mu-fan-ji, you're so nice to me. I feel so safe whenever I have you by my side. I'm not afraid of anything. When our company is bigger and strong enough to contend with the Yi family, you won't have to suffer and work in secret anymore. I want everyone to know how awesome my Yi Fan-ji is, how talented he is. When Yi Mu-fan heard that, he was moved. Silly girl, I just want you to be happy. For you, I'd do anything. Mu-fan. Shin Meng-chi leaned softly against Yi Mu-fan's chest, but her heart was filled with disdain and mockery. She knew that as long as she played a few small tricks, Yi Mu-fan would obey her and be willing to do anything for her. After she dealt with Yi Mu-fan, Shin Meng-chi's eyes flashed as she probed, Oh right, Mu-fan-ji, have you heard anything about Wan-Wan lately? Is she okay? Now that her value was rising, she would naturally wait for a good offer and wasn't in a hurry to find a financial backer. She was also merely fooling around with He Junqing. After meeting a man like Si Yi-han, these ordinary folks were truly not pleasing to the eye. Yi Mu-fan's face changed at the mention of Yi Wan-Wan. I don't know, haven't kept in touch with her and I have no idea what she's doing. That brat is hopeless. I heard from my parents that she's dating a gigolo now. I'm scared she'll have to help him count the money after being sold by him. Gigolo, Shin Meng-chi was elated. He really dumped her once he was bored with playing with her? Too bad. I didn't get the chance to get closer to Si Yi-han before Yi Wan-Wan was dumped. But she was still very happy seeing how unfortunate Yi Wan-Wan was. And that insufferably arrogant Jiang Yanran. I already tossed her away long ago. At the same time, in a certain booth at a restaurant, Reporter Gao, how is it? Have you received any news? Yi Wan-Wan asked. Sitting across Yi Wan-Wan was the chief reporter of Mars Weekly, Gao Fei. He was the top photographer in showbiz who helped Han Xianyu clear his name under Yi Wan-Wan's instructions previously. At that time, Mars Weekly was on the verge of closure, but because of Han Xianyu's incident, they rose again and Gao Fei gradually regained his former status in the industry. After Yi Wan-Wan joined Dazzling, she had always kept in touch with Gao Fei. Chapter 613. So what if he sees us, Director Yi? Do you have a feud with the Shin family? I see you've been messing with the Assembly of Stars Entertainment recently. Gao Fei tried to probe. Yi Wan-Wan leaned against her seat. Her slender fingers grazed the porcelain teacup lightly and she casually said, Kind of. Gao Fei laughed and didn't probe further. He said, Director Yi, you're right. This Shin Meng-chi and He Junqing have something going on, but she's a very cautious person. I've been following her for some time but didn't uncover anything, until a week ago. I found out that the two of them meet at a hotel regularly. Yi Wan-Wan's eyes shifted slightly. Help me get their room number. No problem, don't worry. I'll give you an answer within the week. Gao Fei was straightforward. Yi Wan-Wan raised her teacup in appreciation. Thanks. Director Yi, you don't have to thank me. I should be the one thanking you. If it wasn't for you that time, Mars Weekly would have ceased to exist, Gao Fei said heartily. After chatting with Gao Fei and saying their goodbyes, Yi Wanwan stared at the news regarding the Splendid Light project, and the iciness in her eyes spread. A day before the competitive tender. Late at night, Yi Mu Fan pulled out the bottommost drawer of the desk and took out a bunch of old keys. Their entire family was chased out like a pack of stray dogs before, and the old residence was also seized by Yi Xiaoting, but he made a backup of all the keys. A few years back, he accidentally misplaced the keys and especially got someone to make a new bunch, but in the end, he found the ones he misplaced. According to Yi Xiaoan's character, he would definitely keep an important document like this in the study at home. He just had to sneak in and take a glance, then he would be able to find out their bid amount without anyone knowing. After he took a deep breath, Yi Mu Fan took the keys and left. There was complete silence at the Yi family's old residence. This was where he grew up, after all, so he was very familiar with the place and could very easily avoid the security and enter the courtyard. In the dark, Yi Mu Fan was mocking himself. This is my house, yet I have to be as sneaky as a thief when I enter. Things went better than imagined. Shortly after, Yi Mu Fan snuck into the study, successfully found the tender document for the Splendid Light project, and peeked at the bidding price. The next morning, Assembly of Stars Entertainment. He Jun Chung crossed his legs and mocked. There's no news yet. Are you sure Yi Mu Fan did it? Shen Mengqi sat there and replied plainly, What's the rush? It's not time yet, right? Don't you have faith in me? He Junqing laughed. How could I not have faith in Big Missy Shin's charm? You should go first. I don't want him to find anything when he comes over later. Shin Mengqi said. She hadn't heard from Yi Mu Fan and was starting to feel anxious. So what if he sees us? What can he do to me? That spineless coward. He Junqing sneered and was leaning towards Shin Mengqi's lips when a knock came on the door. That should be Yi Mu Fan. Shen Mengqi's face lit up and she pushed He Junqing away immediately. Diske, what a downer. He Junqing stood up unwillingly. Shen Mengqi straightened her top, then said, Come in. Yi Mu Fan entered and furrowed his brows when he saw that He Junqing was there. I have something I need to speak to Mengqi about in private, Yi Mu Fan said. A cloud of darkness appeared in He Junqing's eyes as he stood up and pretended to be easygoing. I'm done here anyway. You guys go ahead. Chapter 614. Nothing to do with you. Once Shin Mengqi saw Yi Mu Fan, she immediately hugged his arm intimately. Mu Fan, how did it go? I found out that the Yi family's bid is 78 million. You guys just need to bid higher than this and the project is yours, Yi Mu Fan said. Shen Mengqi saw how certain Yi Mu Fan was and obviously didn't dare to instantly believe him. She said hesitantly, Mu Fan, are you sure? Of course I'm not doubting you, it's just that you know how important this project is to me. Yi Mu Fan's tone was resolute. Don't worry, I saw the Yi Group's tender document with my own eyes, it's not wrong. When Shin Mengqi heard that, her eyes glistened. Yi Mu Fan probably snuck into the Yi family's house to peek at the document. This way it really is foolproof. Using this fool was definitely the right thing to do. Shen Mengqi's face lit up as she hugged Yi Mu Fan. Mu Fanji, you're amazing. Thank you so much. Really, thank you. Yi Mu Fan rubbed Shen Mengqi's head. Silly girl, why thank me? I should be thanking you for trusting me. In the hidden corner outside the office, after Yi Mu Fan left, He Junqing quietly walked out and spat a mouthful towards Yi Mu Fan's retreating figure. Just a fool, what's there to be proud of? He Junqing went into the office and hugged Shin Mengqi's waist. Sweetie, so how did it go? At this moment, Shin Mengqi was in a great mood, so she replied confidently, 78 million. When He Junqing heard that, he raised his brows slightly. Hee, I didn't expect that second-generation Yi Mu Fan would actually betray his own family, huh? Then his eyes shifted. He looked at Shin Mengqi and suggested, since we already know their bid, why don't you directly quote 1 million and clinch this project with minimal losses? Shin Mengqi muttered, but if we quote a price with such a small difference, won't they suspect something? With just a difference of 100,000, isn't it too much of a coincidence? Wouldn't we be telling the Yi family that we knew about their bid? He Junsheng opened a bottle of red wine and poured it into his glass, gently swirling it as he smiled. Meng Qi, you already got the bid, so why don't you strive for the maximum benefit? If you go any higher, you wouldn't be making any profit. Anyway, so what if they suspect us? It has nothing to do with you at all. Yi Mu Fan was the one who found out about the bid, and he was also the one who stole the confidential information, so naturally, it had absolutely nothing to do with her. With that thought, Shen Mengqi's eyes brightened up. That's right. That makes sense. Splendid Light was the first investment project she was in charge of. It was extremely important to her, so obviously, she wanted it to go as smoothly as possible. Defeating the Yi family at such a bargain? It couldn't get any better than that. He Junsheng lifted his glass of red wine. Cheers. Wishing you success in clinching this project. Shen Mengqi smiled sweetly. Cheers. On the day of the result of the tender competition, in the Grand Hall, 6 companies gathered together and were seated around a long table. Yi Group's representatives were Yi Shaoan and Yi, while the Shen family had Shen Mengqi and the deputy general manager leading the company's team. After seeing Yi, Shen Mengqi quickly greeted her warmly. Yijie, haven't seen you in a while. You're still so pretty and attractive. Mengqi, Yi turned to her and smiled. You're the real good-looking one. Indeed, a girl changes 18 times before reaching womanhood. 1. I almost couldn't recognize you just now. Chapter 6:15. There must be a mole. You're teasing me again. How could I compare to Yijie's demeanor? Shen Mengqi complimented her. After the two of them were done flattering one another, they both headed to their seats and the conference officially began. In the main seat in the middle, the person in charge stood up and announced the result. Ladies and gentlemen, after the Splendid Light Project Tender Committee's joint review, I would like to officially announce that the successful bidder is the Shen Corporation. The bidding price was 1 million. Missy, we did it. The deputy general manager and company team cheered excitedly. Shen Mengqi smiled, looking calm and collected. As for the people from the Yi Group sitting across them, all of their faces changed. What? 1 million? How could it be only 100,000 more than our bid? Isn't this too much of a coincidence, huh? Uncle Yi, Yijie, thank you so much for giving in to us. Shen Mengqi wasn't worried that the Yi family would be suspicious at all. She walked over to Yi and thanked her courteously. Yi concealed the suspicion in her eyes and replied calmly, Nah, you guys won because of your strength. Then Yijie, Uncle Yi, will get going first. Shen Mengqi proudly led the team and left. After being bullied by the Yi family for so long, she was finally able to take her revenge. After Shen Mengqi and the others left, Yi Shaoan's face turned gloomy. Even a servant's daughter actually dared to strut around and show off in front of me. Actually, the Yi family didn't really care for such a small project, but being humiliated like this, where was Yi Shaoan going to place his pride? One of the higher-ups next to him said, Chairman, there must be a mole in our company. This price doesn't seem right. It's impossible they had such a small difference. Yi Shaoan scoffed softly. How could the Shen family be capable of planting a mole in the Yi Group? Yi was deep in thought, and after a while, she said, the tender document only went through me and my father's hands from the beginning. There was nobody else involved, and this document has always been locked in the study. It was impossible for it to be leaked. Then what happened exactly? Could it be that someone broke into the house? Yi Shaoting said gravely. Yi seemed to have recalled something, and she tried to probe. Daddy, if I didn't remember incorrectly, isn't Yi Mu Fan now working at the Shen family's Assembly of Stars? Yi Shaoan revealed a look of contempt. Yes, that's right. There were many times during gatherings when people came up and said that our Yi family's young master was working for a servant. He doesn't even find it humiliating, huh? When Yi heard that, she hesitated to speak. Then, Daddy, is it possible that Mu Fan? Yi Shaoan's expression changed. You're saying that it was Yi Mu Fan who snooped at our tender document? Yi said, What? I can't be too sure since I don't have any proof. It's just that there's definitely a problem with this price and there's no one else in the company who could have possibly gotten so close to the tender document. It must have been someone from our Yi family. Yi Shaoan sneered continuously and looked very pleased. Yi good, very good. Well done Yi Mu Fan. You actually had the guts to embezzle and help outsiders while living off of us. Doing something like this that harms the entire family's interests. Yi Xiaoting, I'd like to see how you're going to protect this great son of yours this time. After he said that, he turned to Yi, get someone to investigate right now. I must gather evidence. Chapter 616. This is for you? Yes, Daddy. I'll get it done right away. Yi responded immediately. Initially, she was resentful that Yi Xiaoting was so brutal and didn't even want to acknowledge her as his daughter. But now, she felt extremely fortunate. If it wasn't for Yi Xiaoting forsaking her and her mother, she wouldn't be the only Missy and successor of the Yi family. Yi Wanwan and Yi Mu Fan, how can these two good-for-nothing pieces of trash be qualified to compete with me for the family inheritance? She didn't care about Yi Wanwan at all. As for Yi Mu Fan, he was a little troublesome. After all, he was the only grandson in the Yi family while her mother only had her. There was no guarantee that her grandparents wouldn't take him back again for the sake of an heir. But she didn't expect that Yi Mu Fan would actually cause trouble for himself, making her life so much easier. What her grandparents hated most were actions that harmed the interests of the family. Just stealing classified information from the company and revealing it to their rivals was enough to ban him from setting foot in the Yi family and company. Teisuke, this time, I must really thank Shin Meng-chi for giving me such a great opportunity. After the competitive tender announcement was over, Yi Mu Fan had been waiting for Shin Meng-chi's news as he was feeling uneasy. Mu Fanji, success. I got the splendid light project. After hearing from Shin Meng-chi, Yi Mu Fan finally heaved a sigh of relief. Really? That's fantastic. Congratulations, Meng-chi. Shen Meng-chi endured the disgust and disdain she felt and fluttered into Yi Mu Fan's arms like a little bird. Mu Fanji, it's all thanks to you this time. I really don't know how to thank you. I feel like just devoting my life to you isn't enough. I want to be with you in my next life and in the life after that. You? Looking at her bright smile, Yi Mu Fan's eyes were filled with eagerness to pamper her. He simply wanted to give his all to her. Want to go for dinner tonight? Let's celebrate. Yi Mu Fan suggested. Hearing that, Shen Meng-chi looked slightly awkward and said apologetically, well, I'm afraid I can't make it tonight. Another day, okay? She already asked He Junqing out to celebrate. As if she would still have the time for Yi Mu Fan. Even though Yi Mu Fan was slightly disappointed, he still put on a smile and said, of course. We'll wait till you're free. Tonight, your company will definitely put on a celebratory dinner for you. My bad. Mu Fanji, you're awesome. I'm heading off first. See you tomorrow. Shen Meng-chi was about to leave when Yi Mu Fan grabbed her wrist and held her back. Meng-chi, wait, what is it? Mu Fan stared at her delicate little face and looked a little nervous. After some time, he took out a silver necklace from his pocket. I designed it especially for you. All she saw was a silver necklace with an extremely unique ring dangling on it. It looked really beautiful and dreamy, but the material seemed quite ordinary. With just one look, Shen Meng-chi knew it was a cheap good and her heart was full of contempt, yet she pretended to be surprised. Wow, it's really pretty. Is it for me? It's nothing expensive, but I spent 100 entire days on it. I did everything myself, from the designing to the manufacturing, and I hope that someday I can put this ring around your finger. Yi Mu Fan looked at his beloved girl with eyes filled with deep emotion. I'm looking forward to that day too. Shen Meng-chi was mocking him inside, but she urged him eagerly on the outside. Mu Fan, quick, put it on for me. Sure. Yi Mu Fan stood behind her and carefully put on the necklace for her. Chapter 617. Must be more brutal, Mu Fan. Do I look good? Yes. Yi Mu Fan looked at her beautiful little face and restrained himself from kissing her on her forehead. Go on. Bye-bye, Mu Fanji. I really like the necklace. I'll definitely take care of it properly. Shen Mengqi concealed the annoyance in her eyes and couldn't wait to leave. Grandview Park. On the sofa in the living room, Yi Wanwan opened her eyes slowly and looked at the clock hanging on the wall. At this time, the announcement of the competitive tender should have ended and the Shen family should have clinched that project. The Yi family weren't a bunch of fools, so they were probably looking for the mole right now. Yi Wanwan pinched her brows and leaned over to pick up a copy of the access card to the hotel VIP room, looking pensive. Doing this, would this be a little too brutal on brother? However, this hesitation quickly dissipated from her rationality. As the saying went, not even a prairie fire can destroy the grass. It grows again when the spring breeze blows. This time, she had to be more brutal and cut off all his hope. Otherwise, all would be for naught. It was just that she had to make her parents suffer a little. Yi family old residence. Yi Mu Fan was overconfident and thought he was careful in avoiding all the cameras, but he had forgotten the fact that he hadn't been to the old residence in a long while. Many of the camera positions had shifted. Very soon, Yi found a recording of Yi Mu Fan sneaking into the study the night before the competitive tender. How could Yi Shaoan possibly let such a great opportunity go? He immediately reported the incident to the elderly couple of the Yi family. At this moment, in the study at the old residence, Yi Shaoting, Liang Meixian, Yi and housekeeper, Huang Mingkuan, were present. The elderly couple of the Yi family sat on the sofa with extremely gloomy expressions. Yi Shaoan's face was filled with regret. At first, I thought Mu Fan was just a little undisciplined, but who knew that he would actually toy with women and do something so out of hand? Liang Meixian sighed. This isn't only a matter of stealing. Mu Fan stole classified information from the Yi family to assist an outsider. This is too much. How could Xiao Ting and Big Sister indulge their children and let them act so recklessly? Liang Meixian acted like she was heartbroken, but she was gloating in her heart. She originally thought Yi Xiaoting and Liang Wanjun's son was merely incompetent and ignorant. She hadn't expected that with just a few words of coaxing from a girl, he'd do something so brainless. Truly, even God was helping her. They could finally remove this eyesore from the family. Old Master Yi slammed the table hard. Absolutely disgraceful. Is that brat trying to anger me to death? Anger me to death? He patted his back hastily to soothe his anger. Grandpa, don't be mad. You must take care of your health. Mu Fan was probably confused. Housekeeper Huang Mingkuan added fuel to the fire by mumbling, Miss Yi, young Master Mu Fan did something like this that harmed the family's interests. It's simply heart-wrenching. We can't just let him off with the excuse of being confused. If we don't severely punish him today, who knows what he's capable of doing in the future? Housekeeper Huang is right. The old master bellowed, Housekeeper Huang, go on. Get that Xiao Ting and his brat over right now. I want to clarify this with them in person. Yes, master. Huang Mingkuan retreated happily. This time, I'm afraid Yi Xiaoting will never be able to return to the Yi family ever again. Chapter 6:18. Guess what I found? Yi Xiaoting and Liang Wanjun immediately rushed over when they received the call. Dad, it's so late. What's the matter? Yi Xiaoting asked out of curiosity. Yi Hongwei had an outburst of rage the second he saw Yi Xiaoting. You still have the cheek to ask me, huh? It's that great son of yours. Mu Fan. Yi Xiaoting was stunned. Liang Wanjun hurriedly asked, did Mu Fan get into trouble? Liang Meixian was wearing an expensive and luxurious outfit. There wasn't a single wrinkle on her immaculate face and she looked loftily at Liang Wanjun, who was formerly the beauty of Imperial City but was now an old and haggard woman. Liang Meixian said leisurely, Jie, I'm afraid Mu Fan didn't simply cause trouble this time. What he did is considered a crime. What, the crime? Liang Wanjun said anxiously, Mu Fan is a little undisciplined, but he would never commit a crime. Liang Meixian sneered. Sis, you said before that Big Brother wouldn't do anything that betrayed the company. But what happened in the end, huh? Huang Mingkuan immediately chimed in. There's a saying that goes like this: failing to educate the child is the fault of the father. Under the care and discipline of second young master and mistress, Missy is elegant and sensible, but Miss Wan Wan is out of control while young Master Mu Fan is undisciplined. Now, he even did something that harmed the family's interests. I'm afraid eldest young Master Xiao Ting and mistress can't simply avoid the blame for this. Yi Xiaoting glanced coldly at Huang Mingkuan. In the past, when he was still in the Yi family, he found out that Huang Mingkuan abused his power to bully and threaten the maids in the household. He also found out that there was something going on between him and Liang Meixian. But since he worked for the Yi family for so many years, Yi Xiaoting saved him some face and didn't take him to the authorities directly. Yi Xiaoting merely beat him up and sent him away. Who knew that after he left the Yi family, Huang Mingkuan was hired back into the family? Yi Xiaoting scoffed. Wan Wan was quite absurd in the past, but today, she's changed. During the banquet that time, Dad saw it for himself too. As for Mu Fan, you said he harmed the family's interests. What proof do you have? Yi Xiaoan turned to Yi Xiaoting and smiled icily. Truly, one doesn't shed a tear till one sees the coffin. Yi Xiaoan put on a false smile and said, Big brother, you're impressive, but I wonder if you would still be so righteous and proud when you find out the truth. Yi Group was very confident we would get the splendid light project, but in the end, this project was actually snatched away by the Shen family with a mere $100,000 price difference. It was very clear that our bidding price was leaked. The tender document only went through the hands of me and E, and it's always been in the study of the old residents. So let me ask you, how exactly did our bidding price get leaked? I got E to check all the surveillance recordings at home and finally, Big brother, can you guess what I found? Yi Xiaoan glanced at Huang Mingkuan. Huang Mingkuan got the hint right away. He brought out a laptop and played a recording in front of everybody. Eldest young master, please take a look at this yourself. In the recording, Yi Mu Fan climbed over the wall and entered the yard sneakily, then entered the study and came out after a long while. After seeing the recording, Yi Xiaoting and Liang Wanjun looked at one another in complete disbelief. They just couldn't believe their own son would do something like this. In other words, he refuses to be convinced until he is faced with the grim reality. Chapter 619. Gave you too many chances. Liang Meixian sighed. I didn't believe Mu Fan would do something like this at first, but the evidence is right there. He was the one who stole the classified information. Now, Jie, do you have anything to say? Liang Wanjun's expression changed. This is impossible. How could Mu Fan do such a thing? However, the surveillance camera in the hallway captured it very clearly. The one who pushed open the door to the study was Yi Mu Fan. Yi Xiaoting's face turned pale. Mu Fan, how could it be? Yi Hongwei was so mad that he threw the teacup in his hands towards Yi Xiaoting's forehead. Disgrace. I initially wanted to let Yi Mu Fan return to the company, but now it seems like there's no need for that anymore. There's no way he's going to mend his ways. Even if our Yi family dies without a descendant, we'll never let someone like him take over. At most, we'll just adopt a child from Yi and Yuzhe. Hearing that, Liang Meixian was overjoyed and Yi's eyes lit up as well. As long as Yi Mu Fan was doomed, she would be the only successor in the family, and in the future, the Yi family would belong to her and Yuzhe. The old madam, Tan Yilan, who hadn't spoken a word from the beginning, let out a long sigh. Our family is unlucky. Unlucky. The Yi family had 2 granddaughters and 1 grandson. Yi and Yi Wanwan both weren't very similar to the Yi family elders. Only Yi Mu Fan, this grandson of hers, was most like her and Hong Wei. He even inherited her talent in fashion. Thus, she favored this grandson, Yi Mu Fan, and only chased him out so he could learn through experience and mature a little. But now, he had thoroughly let her down. A successor decides the rise and fall of a family, and if the Yi family lands in the hands of someone like him, our days will be numbered. Thankfully, there's still Yuzhe and Yi Xiaoan knew the severity of this and he begged anxiously, Dad, please forgive Mu Fan this time. He was confused. please give him a chance to change. Confused? He betrayed the family for a woman just because he was confused. He stole the company's classified information this time, so wouldn't he be capable of selling the entire company next time? Liang Meixian glanced at Yi Xiaoting meaningfully. Yi Hongwei recalled how his eldest son embezzled the company's funds, and this thought infuriated him further. Xiaoting, I've given you too many chances, but you've truly let me down. I won't let this go this time. I will hand this over to my lawyer and let him deal with it accordingly. What the old master meant was that he would be sending Mu Fan to jail. Liang Wanjun and Yi Xiaoting's faces changed instantly. If Mu Fan really went to jail for this incident, his life would be over. At the same time, at Assembly of Stars Entertainment, there were all sorts of sketches and information sprawled all over Yi Mu Fan's desk. He was working overtime to design the artists' outfits for a new show that Assembly of Stars was going to shoot. The appealing part of this contemporary drama was the various types of clothing from the olden times. They really hoped to win the Best Makeup Artist and Best Costume Design awards at the next International Film Festival. While he was working, his phone was always in silent mode. When he finally decided to take a break, he picked up his phone and took a glance. In the end, he realized he had over 10 missed calls and messages. Chapter 620. Leave the rest to me. 3 were from the old residents and the others were from his parents. Yi Mu Fan's expression changed drastically and he stood up immediately. The old residents and his parents were calling him so urgently at this hour. In an instant, Yi Mu Fan realized what must have happened. The incident of the stolen bid price had been discovered. How could it be? I made sure to avoid all the cameras. Maybe I haven't been to the old residence in so long that I didn't notice changes with the position and number of cameras. Yi Mu Fan sat there with his back stiff and his face dark. He stared at his phone and after some time, he pressed a number on his speed dial and called Shin Mengqi. At the moment, Shin Mengqi was putting on her makeup and changing her outfit. She was completely annoyed when she saw that it was Yi Mu Fan calling. Thinking that he was still useful to her, she sucked it up and answered, "Hello, Mu Fan." Mengqi, Yi Mu Fan's voice was slightly hoarse. "Mu Fanji, what is it? We just saw each other, yet you're already missing me, huh?" Hearing her sweet voice, the burden on Yi Mu Fan's heart lightened and he said, "Mengqi, the old residents called me just now. I think they found out about me leaking the bidding price." In order to save a bit of money, Shin Mengqi purposefully quoted a price with a small price gap. Naturally, she already knew Yi Mu Fan would be a suspect, but she pretended to be shocked like she didn't have the slightest idea how it happened. "What? How could that be? What should we do?" "Mu Fan, you'll be fine, right? Don't worry. What could they do to me? I just wanted to give you a heads up in case the Yi family asks you anything. You just have to say you didn't know anything. Please don't be silly and confess that you were the one who begged me for help. Otherwise, you might be implicated." Yi Mu Fan said quickly. "Nonsense. Of course I'll deny. Does he really think I'm as dumb as he is?" Shin Mengqi replied obediently, "All right, but Mu Fan, are you sure you'll be fine?" "No problem. You go have fun at your celebration. Leave the rest to me." "Mu Fanji, you have to tell me if anything happens. I won't let you be dragged down by me." Shen Mengqi then went on to say many things out of concern in a very caring manner before hanging up. After that, she simply flung her phone onto the bed and hummed a happy tune while changing into sexy lingerie and an exquisite custom-made outfit and prepared to leave for her date. At the old residence of the Yi family, not far off, a black Land Rover was parked there without a sound. Yi Wanwan's petite body leaned against the driver's seat as she waited silently. Her phone started ringing. It was a call from Gao Feng. "Yi Wanwan, hello, what's the situation?" "Gao Feng, Shen Mengqi has left the house." Yi Wanwan nodded. "Okay, keep in touch." Gao Feng, "No problem." Yi Wanwan hung up and immediately saw Yi Mu Fan rushing through the door of the old residence. When she saw that, she quickly got out of the car and followed him. Study of the old residence. Yi Shaoan walked out the infuriated Yi Hongwei and Tan Yilan as they left, leaving only Yi Xiaoting, Liang Wanjun and Yi in the study. Yi looked very apologetic. Uncle, so sorry I can't help Mu Fan. He's really gone too far this time. Liang Mei Xian's eyes were completely gloomy. Yi, I'm afraid they don't care for your kindness. Before, it was Yi Shaoan who was so heartless to throw you aside for the sake of his wife and children. Chapter 621. Downright stupid. At this moment, they heard hurried footsteps from the door. Yi Mu Fan was finally here. The second Yi Mu Fan entered, he saw his mother sitting on the floor with tear-stained cheeks, and his father's face was completely pale and was bleeding from his bruised forehead. When he discovered the calls from the old residents, Yi Mu Fan was already prepared for the worst, but after seeing this scene before him, he was filled with rage. Dad, what happened? Yi Mu Fan rushed over. Once Yi Xiaoting saw his son, his face was filled with anger and sorrow. You disgraceful thing! How could you be so foolish? What have I taught you? Liang Wanjun shut her eyes in despair. Mu Fan, you really went too far this time. Do you know what you did is illegal? Seeing the looks of disappointment on his parents' faces, Yi Mu Fan felt as if his heart was being torn apart by a sharp claw. He held his aching head with his hand. Dad, Mom, what did I do wrong? I didn't even do anything wrong. Why must all of you blame me? Liang Mei Xian shook her head. At this point in time, you're still so shameless. Thankfully, your grandparents left the room. Otherwise, if they heard what you said, I'm afraid it'd drive them to their graves. Yi Xiaoting was furious. You're still not sorry, huh? Yi Mu Fan straightened his neck. I was just protecting the woman I love. I did nothing wrong. Yi Xiaoting's blood pressure rose. He started feeling dizzy and there was a piercing pain in his heart. Dad, Yi Wanwan appeared and dashed forward. She held the trembling Yi Xiaoting in her arms, then fed him a fast-acting heart pill. After that, she quickly pulled out a disinfectant paper towel to clean Yi Xiaoting's wound. Wanwan, you're here. After seeing his daughter, Yi Xiaoting's face turned slightly gentler. Yi Wanwan looked at her father's wound, then turned to Yi Mu Fan, who still didn't think he was in the wrong at this point, and raised her hand, giving Yi Mu Fan a tight slap. Yi Mu Fan, you're downright stupid. At first, she was still holding on to a glimmer of hope that he would be regretful once he saw how he dragged Mom and Dad into this situation, but who knew? Yi Mu Fan held his burning cheek in disbelief and exploded in anger. Yi Wanwan, you actually hit me. Who are you to mock me? You don't understand Shen Meng Qi at all. I have no regrets for what I did. I'll bear all the consequences. Yi Wanwan sneered. Tisk, you'd bear it all? You think that going to prison and ruining your life involves just you? What's going to happen to Dad? Who's going to take care of Mom? Liang Mei Xian, who was gloating by the side and watching a good show, chuckled. Instead of quarreling here, why don't you guys use the time to raise some money, find a good lawyer, and maybe try to get a lighter sentence, huh? Yi Wanwan glanced disapprovingly at Liang Mei Xian and suppressed the boiling anger inside. Now is not the time to deal with Liang Mei Xian. Daddy, Mommy, you guys should head back first. We'll talk tomorrow. Yi Wanwan urged her parents, then grabbed Yi Mu Fan's wrist. Follow me. I'll let you see whether that woman you're so undyingly loyal towards is a human or a demon now. Yi Wanwan, what are you doing? Let go. Yi Mu Fan tried to break free from Yi Wanwan's shackles but didn't expect that she had such enormous strength. Her slender fingers were akin to claws of steel, dragging him out. Chapter 622. Bring me here to watch this sort of thing. After Yi Wanwan dragged Yi Mu Fan all the way downstairs, she pushed him onto the passenger seat, then locked the car. Yi Wanwan, stop being unreasonable. Let me out. Yi Mu Fan howled in fury, then finally noticed the expensive car he was sitting in. How did you get this car? With Yi Wanwan's salary, how could she afford such an expensive car? He already found the house somewhat fishy before. Since when did she have a friend called Yi Bai? Why would he lend her such a huge amount of money to reclaim the house? Yi Wanwan's tone was unusually icy. Shut up. Yi Mu Fan wanted to probe further, but the temperature in the car dropped so fast that he even sneezed and was forced to be quiet. Shortly after, the car arrived at a luxurious hotel at the junction of Imperial City and City C. Yi Wanwan calculated the time. According to her driving speed, they should have arrived before Shin Meng-chi. Yi Wanwan picked up her phone and sent Gao Fei a message. Has Shin Meng-chi and He Junqing reached their room? Gao Fei replied swiftly, not yet. They're still on the way, but they'll be there soon. Yi Wanwan, okay, got it. After replying to Gao Fei, Yi Wanwan held her phone, opened the car door and pulled Yi Mu Fan quickly into the hotel. Yi Wanwan, are you nuts? You're being so sneaky, what are you trying to do? No matter how much Yi Mu Fan yelled at her, Yi Wanwan remained silent and went directly upstairs using the duplicated hotel card. Then she successfully entered Shin Meng-chi and He Juncheng's trysting place. Why did you bring me here? Yi Wanwan scanned the room and her gaze landed on the balcony across the room. She went over immediately, slid open the ceiling-to-floor glass door and pushed Yi Mu Fan onto the balcony. Through the gap of the flowy white curtains, they could see the situation in the bedroom clearly. Yi Mu Fan couldn't hold it in anymore. He was about to roar violently, but his mouth was quickly covered by Yi Wanwan. Keep quiet. Gao Fei's intelligence was very accurate. In just a moment, there was a ding, and the room door was pushed open by someone followed by a pin-drop silence in the room. At the door, there was a loud, indulgent shriek from the woman followed by ambiguous sounds that any full-grown adults would know exactly what was going on. After Yi Mu Fan realized what the couple outside was doing, his face started flushing and he glared sternly at his younger sister. It wasn't because he was pure or shy but because his own sister was there at this moment. Yi Wanwan released her hand over his mouth and Yi Mu Fan immediately whispered, Yi Wanwan, is there something wrong with your head? Why did you bring me here to watch this sort of thing? The sounds got louder and louder, but Yi Wanwan remained expressionless. Why are you so worried? Yi Mu Fan wanted to speak but his face went blank all of a sudden. Why does this woman sound so familiar? Junqing? He Junqing? And this sounds like Meng-chi? He Junqing? How could it be? I must have heard wrong. Meng-chi, you're beautiful. He Junqing groped Shin Meng-chi's body mercilessly then picked her up by the waist. As the footsteps got closer, the two of them entered the bedroom. Chapter 623. Depends on your performance. Yi Mu Fan stared in the direction of the bedroom through the gap in the curtain. In the next second, the figure of a man and woman appeared before him without warning. Shen Meng-chi was roughly thrown on the bed by He Junqing. He then let out a low moan and pounced on her body urgently, starting a new round of conquest. While Shen Meng-chi continued screaming in pleasure, Yi Mu Fan looked at the innocent and pure Shen Meng-chi laying beneath He Junqing's body. His face was completely blank and his mind was ringing like it just exploded inside. He couldn't comprehend what he just witnessed. Next to him, Yi Wanwan said coldly, Yi Mu Fan, look at this clearly. This is your true love, your so-called innocent and kind woman. On the bed, He Junqing spoke as he moved. Meng-chi, how is it? Am I amazing? Am I better than that useless loser Yi Mu Fan? You're naughty. I already said I didn't even let Yi Mu Fan touch a finger of mine. H&G, that retard obviously doesn't have the right to touch you. I was just worried that you would take the act too far. He didn't even hesitate to steal classified information from his own family for you. Speaking of which, when Yi Xiaoting went bankrupt and was chased out of the house, you were the one who stuck by his side. Shen Meng-chi and He Junqing were just sex partners and weren't in a real relationship, so she didn't have to hide anything from him. She scoffed. Take the act too far? I feel so disgusted whenever I see that useless weakling. How could I take the act too far? Without the Yi family, he's a nobody. He's just a stray dog. In order to get close to him before, I had to be so nice to that little bitch Yi Wanwan and endure her nonsense. Who knew that even Yi Xiaoan was useless as well, making me waste all my time and energy. Their whole family is garbage. Hearing every word that came out of Shin Meng-chi's mouth, Yi Mu Fan's breathing became rapid. His mind buzzed and his pupils constricted. That's impossible. Impossible. All of this is fake. It's fake. All he heard was He Juncheng's laughter. But it's also unfortunate. At least that useless man had some use to us. If I had known earlier, we should have quoted a price of 78,001 cents, then we would have saved $100,000. $100,000. I think selling that garbage wouldn't even fetch us a price of $100,000. Stop rejoicing in his misfortune already. If the Yi family wants him to go to jail, I'll see what happens to you. All those works of yours were done by him. He Juncheng's face changed slightly. Darn it, I completely forgot about this. If he goes to jail, who's going to do the work for me? He Juncheng put on a nefarious grin. Little hussy, you definitely have a plan, don't you? Shen Mengqi smiled. I'm not telling you. You're not going to tell me? He Juncheng used more force on her. Are you going to tell me? Are you? All right, I'll say. Shen Mengqi's face was flushed and she said cheerfully, Isn't it simple? I'll let Yi Mu Fan go home and convince his father, Yi Xiaoting, to take the blame. Wouldn't that settle everything? He'll do whatever I say anyway. Great idea. It's perfect. You have to remember to help me monitor his progress on designing costumes for the new drama series. I'm relying on that to win an award. Shen Mengqi laid on his chest intimately. That depends on your performance then. Chapter 624. He's an idiot. That depends on your performance then. How could He Juncheng bear this provocation? He immediately howled deeply and pounced on her. The bedroom was once again filled with nauseating sounds. At this current moment, Yi Mu Fan listened to the conversation between Shen Mengqi and He Juncheng and his face was drained of color. His eyes were a terrifying shade of red and his body was trembling violently. He Juncheng stroked Shen Mengqi's body greedily. Baby, what's that on your neck? It's in the way. Shen Mengqi spoke with contempt like she was looking at something disgusting. This? A piece of shit that Yi Mu Fan gave me. You know what? That trash wants to marry me. What a joke. He Juncheng chuckled. He's really an idiot. He's already wearing a green hat, yet he's still staying up late to design for me. Shen Mengqi was so amused that she couldn't stop giggling. He Juncheng yanked the necklace off Shen Mengqi's neck and threw it on the floor. That delicate and beautiful necklace broke in the middle and fell to the ground with a resounding dong, akin to smashing one's heart and leaving a large hole dripping with blood. Yi Mu Fan stared at that necklace with his eye socket split open and his face was as dark as the night outside. It was as if his entire being was soaking in the ice-cold sea and blood was dripping from his hands, but he was still standing there in a daze, staring at the scene of Shen Mengqi and He Juncheng having illicit sexual relations. In his head, images of him meeting Shen Mengqi for the first time flashed by. The first time he met her, her shy and innocent little face. When they got closer, her elated and excited expression. Her gentle and warm encouragement when he was at his lowest. But at this moment, the unbearable scene in the bedroom overtook all those memories and the images in his mind crumbled into pieces. Yi Mu Fan's stomach churned heavily. His entire world was a complete mess. Why didn't I realize sooner? That's right. Planlon was right. I'm an idiot. I'm downright stupid. In the next second, there was a loud bang. Yi Mu Fan kicked the glass door so hard that it fell to the floor and broke into 1,000 pieces. On the spacious bed, this sudden noise frightened Shen Mengqi that she screamed loudly. Hu Juncheng reached a critical juncture and was so scared that he went soft. He immediately covered his private parts in a panic and looked towards the balcony. Damn it! What happened? Who is that? Shen Mengqi and Hu Juncheng followed the noise and turned in that direction. All they saw was that half the balcony door was kicked over and a tall figure stood next to it. The man stood there with his head hung low, his body emitting a cold aura. The two of them looked at him for a long while before figuring out who he was. After they took a good look at him, Shen Mengqi's expression changed and she quickly covered herself with the blanket. Moo! Mu Fan, Yi Mu Fan? He Jun Cheng's expression changed as well. The two of them were shocked when another person appeared behind the door. It was Yi Wanwan. When they saw that Yi Wanwan was there as well, Shen Mengqi was even more surprised. You, why would the both of you? Chapter 625. Sudden realization. They were initially so engrossed in making love that they let themselves go. When two people suddenly appeared out of nowhere, anybody would be scared out of their wits. He Jun Cheng was very shaken. His face was as pale as a ghost. After Shen Mengqi snapped back to reality, her little face was filled with misery and grief as she began to explain while flustered. Mu Fan, listen to me, it's not what you think. Yi Mu Fan's face didn't have any expression at all. He stood there in silence before he said, not what I think? Shen Mengqi sobbed and spoke at the same time, really Mu Fan, you have to believe me. I was drunk during the company's celebratory dinner. I didn't know anything. Yi Mu Fan looked at how pitiful and sad she was. If this was in the past, he would be willing to do anything just to get her to smile. However, now, her innocent little face made him feel nauseated. Yi Mu Fan leaned over slightly and clutched his churning stomach like he was about to throw up. He chuckled all of a sudden. Oh, is that so? You didn't know? You didn't know he could make you feel better than a loser like I could? Hearing what Yi Mu Fan said, Shen Mengqi's sobbing little face stiffened up. Yi Mu Fan continued on. You didn't know that seeing worthless scum like me made you feel disgusted? You didn't know that even if you sold garbage like me away, I wouldn't be worth $100,000? Shen Mengqi completely froze. That garbage actually heard every single word. This meant he didn't enter through the window but was lurking inside all along. Yi Mu Fan took the flower vase on the bedside table and smashed it hard against the wall across. Shen Mengqi, I was so faithful towards you. For you, I did everything. Bloody hell, I even stole classified information from my own family's business for you. Yet you were actually fooling around with this gigolo. You were just fucking using me the whole time. You were using me. The loud smash of the flower vase scared Shen Mengqi to the point that she screamed, Yi Fan, are you crazy? Damn it. Shen Mengqi glared fiercely in Yi Wanwan's direction. Yi Mu Fan wasn't smart enough to find out about this at all. That fool never suspected me before, so how could he come here all of a sudden to catch us in the act? It must have been Yi Wanwan who came between us. Shen Mengqi was somewhat guilty at first, but at that moment, since she was already completely exposed, she flew into a rage out of humiliation. So what if I'm fooling around with a gigolo? Better than your shameless younger sister throwing herself at a man. Don't you have any idea of your status? How are you qualified to be with me? At first, I was still prepared to have some more fun with you, but since you don't know your place, don't blame me, okay? At this moment, He Jun Cheng said in a casual tone, Young Master Yi, why are you doing this? As long as you continue helping me obediently, I'll never let you starve. I'll pretend nothing happened today. Ha ha. Hearing the shameless words of these two people, Yi Mu Fan chuckled. In the next second, he threw a punch straight at He Jun Cheng's face. He Jun Cheng instantly howled in agony. He was about to stand up when another punch followed. Yi Mu Fan was like a violent lion filled with rage. His fist kept crazily pounding He Jun Cheng's face. It was only when He Jun Cheng continuously begged for mercy that Yi Mu Fan stopped and slowly strode towards Shen Mengqi, who was on the bed. Chapter 626. Do as I say. What are you trying to do? Yi Mu Fan, let me tell you. If you dare do anything towards me, you're dead meat. Swish, Shen Mengqi screamed. She felt a gush of wind on her face as a fist flew into the wall behind her. Yi Mu Fan's fist was covered in blood instantly. He stared coldly at her till all the light in his eyes disappeared. 3 seconds later, Yi Mu Fan slowly straightened up and walked out of the room. Yi Wanwan glanced at Shen Mengqi and He Jun Cheng then left as well. After the two of them left, Shen Mengqi screamed furiously. Darn it! Her plan was so perfect at first, but in the end, everything was ruined. Thankfully, even if Yi Mu Fan turned his back on her, he wouldn't be able to find any evidence, so this incident would never incriminate her. But losing a free laborer like that made her very unhappy. Meng Qi, what should we do now? Yi Mu Fan found out about us and won't work for me anymore for sure. He Junqing panicked. Shut up. If there's no more Yi Mu Fan, you just have to do things yourself. You're a stylist too, can't you work without him? Shen Meng Qi said in a frustrated tone. He Junqing didn't know what to say and his eyes turned gloomy. Damn it, this won't do. I better go look for that Yi Mu Fan and at most give him some money. He'll definitely agree to that, won't he? With that thought, He Junqing regained his fearless expression. At night, on the lonely and deserted road, Yi Mu Fan staggered along the street in a daze like a lost soul. Yi Wanwan followed behind him without saying a word. They walked for an endless amount of time. When they walked past a plaza, there was a sudden cheer. It was a young couple. The guy was holding a bouquet of flowers and a ring with one knee on the ground and was proposing to the girl. I do. Following the girl's words, the crowd cheered excitedly. Yi Mu Fan stood there and watched this scene in a daze until everybody in the plaza dispersed. At this moment, his phone started ringing. Yi Mu Fan answered the call robotically and an icy cold voice came through the receiver. Mr. Yi Mu Fan, I am the appointed lawyer for Chairman Yi Hongwei. Please appear at the company tomorrow morning at 8. Ha, oh that's right. I'm an idiot. Yi Mu Fan started laughing crazily as his phone slipped from his hand and fell to the ground. After that, he slowly squatted down and his shoulders started trembling. He finally burst into tears and cried out loudly. Yi Wanwan took a deep breath. She couldn't take this anymore as she grabbed him by the collar and lifted the sobbing Yi Mu Fan off the ground. Fuck, what are you crying for? Are you still a man? It's over. I'm done for, everything's gone. For this woman, I ruined my entire life and even dragged dad and mom into this. How can I keep living? Yi Shaoan would never let this go easily. Wanwan's right. How am I going to be held responsible for this? How am I going to be accountable? It doesn't matter who's going to be accountable for this or who's going to jail. My family is destroyed. Yi Wanwan glared at him. Who said you're done for? When Yi Mu Fan heard that, he looked at Yi Wanwan, stunned. Yi Wanwan said expressionlessly, after you go to the company tomorrow, do what I say and nobody can hold you accountable. Chapter 627. Overuse her brain. Yi Mu Fan had a look of despair. How could that be? They have the video recording as evidence. Yi Wanwan looked at the man in front of her with frustration and passed him a tissue. Shut your crap. I said it's possible, so it is. Yi Mu Fan took the tissue, stood up and looked straight into her confident eyes with a surprised look on his face. Since when did this little sister of mine who's always lived under the protection of the family grow up to this point without me noticing at all? Late at night, Yi Wanwan took Yi Mu Fan back to the dormitory, then nagged him a couple times about what to do tomorrow before leaving. Back at Jean Garden, settled the issue already? On the sofa, Si Han looked at the girl. Yi Wanwan picked up the glass of juice on the coffee table and drank it up in one gulp, then replied, settled. I nearly went blind from watching a live porn. My silly brother, he was wearing such a big green hat on his head, yet he didn't even know. Si Han seemed to want to say something but stopped. After a long while, he finally spoke up, about the incident of stealing the classified information. How are you going to handle it? Su Yi sighed as he witnessed this scene. I just go straight to the point if you want to help Miss Wanwan. Why do you still beat around the bush? Blame yourself for coming up with the rule that Miss Wanwan isn't allowed to go to you for help. Great, now you can't help her even if you wanted to. However, he realized that with Miss Wanwan's abilities, she didn't really need his help at all. It just seemed quite troublesome this time, huh? They already had the evidence, so how was she going to get Yi Mu Fan off the hook? Yi Wanwan blinked. What do you think? Si Han thought about it then replied, make the Yi Group bankrupt. To Si Han, destroying Yi Group would be solving the root of the problem. Seeing that Si Han wasn't joking at all, Yi Wanwan's face was as black as the underside of a pot. That's not the solution, all right? Big bro, which normal person would simply make someone's company go bust? Where did this barbarous and cruel thinking come from? Anyway, this is her family's company, okay? I want to get it back. Forget it, I shouldn't have asked him. Yi Wanwan didn't tease him further. She rolled her eyes, rubbed her chin and said, I can solve this issue without spending any money or human resources and even make the Yi family apologize to my brother. Do you believe me? When Si Han heard what she said, he furrowed his brows. Judging by that look on his face, it was obvious he didn't quite believe her. Su Yi wiped his sweat. Although he believed in Miss Wanwan's abilities, what she said seemed a little too ambitious, didn't it? Yi Wanwan blinked and said excitedly, Hee hee, I knew you wouldn't believe me. Why don't we make a bet? Si Han looked at her sly and crafty eyes that were akin to a little fox. Bet on what? Yi Wanwan said, You don't believe that I can do it, right? If you win, you can get me to do anything you want. If you lose, you would have to promise me one thing without any conditions attached. Si Han glanced at her and replied, There's no meaning to this bet. Yi Wanwan was unsatisfied. Why isn't there any meaning? Si Han took a sip of tea. Figure it out yourself. Yi Wanwan racked her brain for a very long time before she finally got it. What you mean is that, even if we don't make a bet, you would promise me anything without any conditions attached, right? Si Han coughed lightly without saying anything which could be considered tacit agreement. Yi Wanwan covered her face. I mean it, baby. When will you be more direct when you're flirting with me? This relationship is seriously making me overuse my brain. Chapter 628. As long as you're shameless enough, Su Yi, who was already very accustomed to this thunderous shower of dog food, said with the corners of his lips twitching, So anyway, what's your solution, Miss Wanwan? Miss Wanwan smiled. Actually, the solution is pretty simple. I just have to get my brother to deny everything in front of my grandparents. The cameras only captured my brother entering the study but didn't even capture what he did after he went in, so who's to say that he took a peek at the tender document? I already asked my brother. That fool still had some sense to wear gloves, so he didn't leave any fingerprints when he flipped the documents. He's the only grandson in our Yi family after all. My grandmother especially loved my brother a lot. Before, she chased him out of the family hoping that he would experience the real world outside and grow up. As long as my brother acts according to what I said and maybe acts more like a pitiful scoundrel, it'll definitely work. Si Han, Su Yi, that'll work? Su Yi was speechless. Cough cough, it was indeed, in line with the way Miss Wanwan dealt with matters. Hee hee, Ajio, ain't I smart? Yi Wanwan tried fishing for compliments. Si Han looked at her sly little face as she grinned till her faintly discernible little dimples appeared. He seemed to be in a trance as he wondered how she was always so cheery and full of life. And smart. Su Yi watched gratefully at the two of them interacting harmoniously. Yi Wanwan used to always be resentful and cynical, but today, she was a completely different person. Not only did she redeem herself, but she also saved everyone around her. The next morning, at the lobby of Yi Group's company, outside the big glass entrance, Yi Mu Fan stopped and appeared uncomfortable. Standing next to him, Yi Wanwan asked, What is it? Yi Mu Fan knitted his brows. Well, will your idea really work? There's already concrete evidence against me. How could I still deny it? It's impossible. Yi Shaoan and Liang Mei Xian aren't idiots. Yi Wanwan glanced at him and said casually, As long as you're shameless enough. Yi Mu Fan, in the meeting room, the Yi family's elderly couple, Yi Shaoan, Liang Mei Xian, and Yi as well as Yi Shao Ting and Liang Wanjun were all already present. The lawyer held the prepared indictment and stood by the side with a rigid expression. Judging by his stance, it was obvious he would pursue this matter all the way. Yi Shaoting begged anxiously, Dad, please forgive Mu Fan this once. If he's charged with this, his entire life will be ruined. Yi Hongwei was already extremely disappointed. It was obvious he didn't want to speak with him further. Shut up. Why didn't you do something earlier instead of getting worried right now? Dad. Seeing how the old man's heart had hardened, Liang Wanjun went on her knees towards Tan Yilan. Mom, you love Mu Fan the most. Please let him off this time. Tan Yilan shot daggers at Liang Wanjun and her eyes were filled with disdain. Before, she already planned out the marriage for her eldest son, but in the end, this son of hers insisted on marrying Liang Wanjun and she couldn't change his mind, so she went along with his wishes. She wasn't fond of this overly pretty daughter-in-law from the beginning. Furthermore, Liang Wanjun wasn't able to conceive for many years after they got married. On the other hand, Liang Meixian was filial and sensible and she often spent time with her when they were living together. After that, Meixian got pregnant by accident and she wanted her eldest son to get a divorce. However, he disobeyed her once again and was so cold-hearted to abandon his own flesh and blood. In the end, her second son volunteered to marry Meixian and managed to keep it. Chapter 629. Let's see who's more shameless. If Xiaoting listened to her then, gotten a divorce and married Meixian, so many things wouldn't have happened. Maybe her son wouldn't only have but a couple more sons. Everything now confirmed what she thought before. Even though Liang Wanjun had children, they were two unworthy brats who caused trouble for the Yi family. Tan Yilan was furious as these thoughts filled her mind. She pushed Liang Wanjun's hand away harshly. I already said that virtue is the most important quality of a wife. My biggest mistake in life was not stopping Xiaoting from marrying you. My eldest son and grandson were destroyed by your hands. Hearing this cutting criticism, Liang Wanjun felt a gripping pain in her heart. Mom, Tan Yilan was so mad that she started breathing heavily. Get lost. Don't call me Mum. Liang Meixian and Yi stepped forward at the perfect time. Yi patted Tan Yilan's back lightly, looking very worried. Grandma, don't be angry. Liang Meixian concealed the happiness in her eyes as she watched how Liang Wanjun was chided so horribly. Calm down. Take care of your health. When Tan Yilan saw Liang Meixian and Yi, her face turned slightly warmer. From today onwards, I only have one daughter-in-law, Meixian, and one granddaughter, Yi. Liang Wanjun slumped to the floor with a tear-stained face while Yi Xiaoting dug his fingers deep into his palms and fresh blood trickled down his hands. Liang Meixian looked at Liang Wanjun condescendingly. Jia, don't say any more. Will you only be satisfied when you drive Mom to her grave? I think Mu Fan has gone too far this time. If we don't teach him a lesson, he'll cause more trouble sooner or later. Yi said gently, Uncle, Auntie, don't blame Grandpa and Grandma for being harsh. Actually, they mean well for Mu Fan. Yi Xiaoan walked to Yi Xiaoting and patted him on the shoulder. Big brother, he made a mistake so he should pay for it. This is the right thing to do. You can't make use of Mom and Dad's soft-heartedness and fear nothing just because you have their support. In the past, you went against Dad's principles and laundered the company's money and got yourself deep in debt in Las Vegas, so you misappropriated public funds. Now, your son stole classified information from the company. What do you think the company is? Your personal bank? This is Dad's entire life's work. Yi Xiaoting saw that there was no way of correcting this situation anymore. He straightened his back. Failing to educate the child is the fault of the father. I'm willing to take responsibility for Mu Fan's wrongdoings. Whether it's going to jail or paying a fine, I'll take responsibility for it. Hearing what Yi Xiaoting said, Yi Xiaoan and Liang Meixian looked at each other. If Yi Xiaoting goes to jail, that's not bad either. With a father who was a convict and a stain, Yi Mu Fan and Yi Wanwan would never be successful in their lives. At this moment, there were footsteps at the door. Yi Wanwan and Yi Mu Fan pushed the door open and entered in single file. Hearing Yi Xiaoan's family speaking without any sense of shame, frost flashed in Yi Wanwan's languid eyes. TSK, they were the ones who single-handedly framed my dad before. What money laundering and embezzling money to pay off his gambling debts. Yi Xiaoan was responsible for all that, but he pushed the blame to my dad. Now, he still dares to bring up these things with such righteousness. He's truly set the new baseline for how low one can get. Yi Shaoan sneered when he saw that Yi Mu Fan arrived late. My great young master, you're finally here, huh? Yi Mu Fan was dressed in a flashy light blue suit with one hand in his pocket. He sloppily swept his gaze across everyone in the room. Why is everyone so punctual today? What did you call the young master over for? Chapter 630. Please begin your performance seeing how sloppy and fearless Yi Mu Fan was. Liang Mei Xian sneered in her heart. Could it be that this great young master still thinks he can get away with this? Yi Mu Fan completely angered the elderly couple for stealing classified information this time. Yi Xiaoting's family will be totally destroyed and Yi Mu Fan will have to eat prison food. With those thoughts, a hint of glee appeared in Liang Mei Xian's eyes. Yi Shaoan said in an annoyed manner, since everyone is here, let's begin. Do you want to turn yourself in or shall we meet in court? Yi Wanwan made a casual glance in Yi Mu Fan's direction. When he got the hint from his sister, Yi Mu Fan gave a slight nod and his expression immediately became even more cynical. Turn myself in? Yi Mu Fan scanned the room and spoke in a doubtful way. Who's going to turn himself in? What, did the Yi family do something illegal? Yi Shaoan and Liang Mei Xian were flabbergasted. Is this child so scared that he lost his mind? Yi Shaoan was obviously referring to him. Yi Mu Fan, stop your act. The criminal of the Yi family is obviously you. Yi Shaoan bellowed. Me? Yi Mu Fan stood at the same spot and pointed at himself. I committed a crime? You don't say. Liang Mei Xian said in an unpleasant tone. Second aunt, are you awake from your sleep? Yi Mu Fan frowned. Did I murder someone or commit arson? Liang Mei Xian scoffed. Yi Mu Fan, you're pretty good at acting. Don't tell me you forgot about stealing the tender document from the Yi family, right? Tender document? Yi Mu Fan seemed surprised and he turned to Yi Wanwan. Wanwan, what tender document is second aunt talking about? Yi Wanwan acted with him and replied lazily, I think it's the tender document for the Splendid Light Project. Oh, I heard about the competitive bidding for the Splendid Light Project. What's up, did our Yi family participate in it as well? Yi Mu Fan nodded. We did, but the Shen family won the project. Yi Wanwan sighed. Shen family? Yi Mu Fan mumbled. That small company could compete with our Yi family? Who's in charge of the Splendid Light Project? That person is useless. You. Liang Mei Xian didn't expect that Yi Mu Fan would be so brazen. He even went around and insulted them. If it wasn't for this unloyal ingrate stealing the tender document for the Shen family, how would they know our bid price? Liang Mei Xian raged. Oh, now I get it. You're saying that I stole the tender document and purposely let the Shen family win the Splendid Light Project. Yi Mu Fan looked as if he just understood what was going on. TSK, what are you acting for? Wasn't that the case? Liang Mei Xian sneered. Let out your smelly dog fart. Yi Mu Fan roared suddenly. Bang! After that, all they heard was a clear sound echoing in the room. Yi Mu Fan actually gave Liang Mei Xian a big tight slap on the face. Not only was she dumbstruck, but even Yi Xiaoting and Liang Wanjun were in a daze. The corners of Yi Wanwan's lips twitched as well. Little bastard, are you trying to rebel? How dare you hit me? Liang Mei Xian's eyes widened. She held her left cheek and screeched at him. Second aunt, I didn't expect you to be so heartless and cunning to frame me. Yi Mu Fan bellowed. He was even more agitated than Liang Mei Xian as he raised his hand, about to hit her again. However, this time, Yi Wanwan held him back. Guji, how could you do this? Second aunt is our elder. Chapter 631. That's me? Bullshit, second aunt actually framed me in front of grandpa and grandma. She obviously wants me dead. She's so old, yet she doesn't have any integrity. Yi Mu Fan yelled like he lost his mind. What? Did he just call me old? Liang Mei Xian's face contorted in anger. Guji, don't spout nonsense. There must be a misunderstanding somewhere. Why would second uncle and auntie do something like this? Yi Wanwan said anxiously. Yi Wanwan. Yi Mu Fan sneered. Whose sister are you? How dare you doubt me? Gojik, it's not that I don't believe you, but I just think there must be a misunderstanding here. Yi Wanwan hurriedly explained. Everyone just shut up. Yi Hongwei slammed the chair and berated everyone. Seeing that the old man was fuming, Liang Meixian and Yi Mu Fan finally quieted down. I didn't steal the tender document. Yi Mu Fan scoffed with a stiff expression. Yi Shaoan burst out in laughter. Ha, you didn't do it? That wasn't what you said last time. You already confessed to it. I confessed. Yi Mu Fan spat. Yi Shaoan, you said I confessed to it? I say you confessed to stealing it in order to frame me. You're talking shit. Yi Shaoan roared. You're talking shit. Yi Mu Fan sneered. Liang Meixian mocked in a high-pitched voice. This has truly been an eye-opener for me. Huh? Things have already reached this point, yet you're still trying to come up with false arguments. You hit and yelled at your elders? How are you a part of our Yi family? You're a gangster. Yi Mu Fan immediately retorted sarcastically, this has truly been an eye-opener for me. Due to your own incompetence, you lost to the Shen family and were embarrassed. You were afraid Grandpa and Grandma would blame you for it, so you framed me by saying that the tender document was stolen. A person like you has the nerve to call yourself an elder? Grandpa, Grandma, I didn't do it. How could I possibly do something like this? They're trying to frame me and push me to my death. Yi Mu Fan's face morphed as he whimpered. Seeing this, Yi Hongwei and Tan Yilan frowned. Judging by the way Yi Mu Fan was acting, it didn't seem fake. Grandpa, Grandma, since they said I was the one who did it, bring out the evidence. Yi Mu Fan scoffed. Evidence? Liang Meixian laughed coldly. Sure, you want the evidence? We have the recording. Come on, bring it out. Yi Mu Fan looked extremely fierce. Yi Shaoan immediately gave a meaningful glance to the lawyer by the side. Not long after, the lawyer pulled out a laptop and played the recording. In the recording, there was a man who almost had the same figure as Yi Mu Fan, sneaking into the study. The man was in a full black outfit, he wore gloves and even had a cap on. Although they couldn't see his face, this man's build and profile looked very similar to Yi Mu Fan. After Yi Hongwei and Tan Yilan watched the recording, fury appeared on their faces and they looked directly at Yi Mu Fan. Ooh, this little bastard, why don't you keep denying it, huh? Liang Meixian said. Ah, Yi Mu Fan pointed at the recording on the laptop and laughed uncontrollably. You're saying this person is me? Who else? There's concrete evidence here, yet you're still trying to deny it. Liang Meixian berated him. One look, is this me? Yi Mu Fan turned to Yi Wanwan. The back and profile seem quite similar, but if there's someone who really wants to frame you, she could easily find somebody who has a similar build and appearance to pretend to be you, Yi Wanwan said. Dad, take a look. Is this person me? Yi Mu Fan turned to Liang Wanjun and Yi Xiaoting. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.